Good evening. It's 8:30 p.m. and it's time for story time with Gina. We do this every night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We read a story. We're going to read Jack and the Beanstalk tonight, and that was the story that was next to the one that we read last night about David and Goliath. We're talking about giants. And we know that giants roamed the land. They did. There's talk of them. And some of those giants are purportedly to be 70 feet. They're massive, massive giants. So let me make sure that I can be heard over here, and we'll start the reading. That's what we'll do. Hello there, Michael and Frank Cooper. Let me see if I can hear myself on here. Can you hear me? Hello there, Michael and Frank. You can hear me. Okay, we got it. We got it. You all welcome. Maxie, Suspicious Guys. Yeah, we're going to read Jack and the Beanstalk. Okay, here we go. Jack and the Beanstalk. It's adapted from Andrew Lang. After David, Jack is probably our most famous and beloved giant slayer. He begins his adventure as a thoughtless boy, but redeems himself through bravery that rises from a sense of duty to his mother. Courage leads upward, and sooner or later, we must all climb our own beanstalks. Once upon a time, there was a poor widow who lived in a little cottage with her only son, Jack. Jack was a silly, thoughtless boy, but a very kind-hearted boy. One morning, the old woman told her son to go to the market and sell their cow. So Jack started off. But on the way, he met a butcher with some beautiful beans in his hand. The butcher told the boy that they were of great value and persuaded the silly lad to swap the cow for the beans. Well, of course, when Jack came home with nothing but a handful of beans to show for their cow, his mother shed many a tear. At that, Jack realized his foolishness, and he felt terrible. At least he thought, I may as well sow the beans. So he planted them in the garden and went sadly to bed. The next day he got up at daybreak and went into the garden. To his amazement, he found that the beans had grown up in the night, and their stalks climbed up and up like a ladder, disappearing into the clouds. It would be easy to climb it, Jack thought. So he began to climb and went up the stalk until he had left everything behind, his cottage, his village, even the church tower. At last he reached the top, and he found himself in a beautiful country, finely wooded with lush meadows covered with sheep. A crystal stream ran through the pastures, and nearby stood a fine, strong castle. While he was standing, looking at it, an ancient lady came walking along. If you please, ma'am, said Jack, is this your house? No, said the old lady. That is the castle of a wicked giant who keeps wonderful treasures inside. It is said that someday a young lad will come from the valley below to challenge the giant and win the treasures for his poor mother. Perhaps you are the one, but the task is very difficult and full of peril. Have you the courage to undertake it? I fear nothing when I am doing right, said Jack. Then said the old lady, you are one of those who slay giants? If you can get inside the castle, you may find a hen that lays golden eggs and a harp that talks, as well as 2 bags full of gold. If you can get them, they will be a great comfort to your poor mother. So Jack marched forward and knocked at the castle gate. The door was open. in a minute or two by a frightful giantess with one great eye in the middle of her forehead. At once she grabbed Jack and dragged him inside. Ho, ho, she laughed terribly. I've been needing somebody to clean the knives, but I must hide you whenever the giant is home, for he has eaten up all my other servants, and you would be a dainty morsel too, my lad. Well, Jack was very frightened, as you can imagine, but he struggled to be brave and make the best of things. I am quite ready to serve you, he said, only I beg you to hide me from your husband, for I should not like to be eaten at all. That's a good boy, said the giantess. It's lucky you did not scream when you saw me, or he would have heard you and eaten you for supper, as he has done with so many others. Come here, child. Go into my closet. He never looks in there, and you'll be safe. She opened a huge door that stood in the great hall and shut him in. But the keyhole was so large that it admitted plenty of air, and he could see everything that took place through it. By and by he heard a heavy tramp on the stairs, like the lumbering along of a great cannon, and then a voice like thunder cried out, Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones and make my bread. Wife, he cried out, there is a man in the castle. Let me have him for supper. You have grown old and stupid, said the lady in her loud tones. You smell only the dinner I have cooked for you. There, sit down and have a good supper. So the giant sat down at his table, and Jack watched him through the keyhole and was amazed to see him swallow a whole roast pig in one bite. Then he drank a whole barrel of ale in one gulp. When supper was ended, he asked his wife to bring him his hen that laid the golden eggs. The giantess went away and soon returned with a little brown hen, which she placed on the table before her husband. Lay, said the giant, and instantly the hen laid a golden egg. Lay, said the giant, and she laid another. Lay, he repeated, and again a golden egg appeared on the table. After a while he put the hen down on the floor and called on his wife to bring him his money bags. The giantess went and soon returned with 2 large bags over her shoulders, which she set down by her husband. The giant took out heaps and heaps of golden pieces and counted them and put them in piles till he was tired of the amusement. Then he swept them all back into their bags. I think I will take a nap, he said to his wife, but first bring me my harp, for I will have a little music. So the giantess went away and returned with a beautiful harp. The framework sparkled with diamonds and rubies, and the strings were of all gold. Play, said the giant, and the harp played a very soft, sad song. Play something merrier, said the giant, and the harp played a merry tune. Now play me a lullaby, roared the giant, and the harp played a sweet lullaby, and its master fell asleep. Jack stole softly out of the closet and peeped into the huge kitchen to make sure the giantess was not looking. Then he crept up to the giant's chair and quietly gathered the bags of money and the wonderful hen and the magic harp. Then he ran as fast as he could, but as he got to the door, the harp cried out, "Master, master!" And the giant woke up. With a tremendous roar, he sprang from his seat and in 2 strides reached the door. Jack was very nimble and fled like lightning. The giant came fast and stretched out his great hand to catch the boy. But Jack darted away and ran to the top of the beanstalk and climbed down through the clouds as fast as his feet would move. He gave a great sigh of relief when he reached his own garden, only to look up and behold the giant climbing down after him. "Mother, mother," cried Jack, "make haste and bring me my axe." His mother ran to him with a hatchet, and Jack began to chop away, but the giant was getting closer and closer. "Mother, stand out of the way," Jack yelled. With one last blow, he cut the tree stem through and jumped back from the spot. Down came the giant with a terrible crash and broke his neck and stretched dead from one end of the garden to the other. Well, of course, Jack's poor old mother was scared out of her wits, for it wasn't every day that a giant came crashing down in her garden. But Jack told her all about his adventure and showed her the bags of money and how this wonderful hen, could lay golden eggs and how the magic harp could play and sing. Jack's mother was glad to have such treasures, but she was even more grateful to have her son back safe and sound, and proud of him for his courage. "Yesterday I worried that you were only a foolish and thoughtless boy," she said. "But today you've shown how brave you can be. Now I know you are destined to climb the ladder of fortune just as you climbed that beanstalk." So together they buried the wicked giant and then went inside to count their blessings. So that was Jack and the Beanstalk from the book of Virtues right here. I hope you enjoyed hearing that story. And there's one thing I would like to add to it. There is. Let me see about this, you all. This is really strange. This is one origin I want to come over here to see. The origin of Jack and the Beanstalk right here. The story of Jack Spriggins and the Enchanted Bean was published in London by J. Roberts in 1734 in the 2nd edition of Roundabout Our Coal Fire. In 1807, the English writer Benjamin Tarbert published the history of Jack and the Beanstalk, possibly actually edited by William and/or Mary Jane Goodwin. The story is older than these accounts, and according to researchers at Durham University and the Universidade Nova de Lisboa, the tale type AT328, the boy steals the ogre's treasure, to which the Jack story belongs, may have had a Proto-Indo-European language origin and the same tale as the Proto-Indo-Iranian variants. And so some think that the story would have originated a millennia ago, 4500 BC to 2500 BC. In some versions of the tale, the giant is unnamed, but many plays based on its name name him the Blunderbore. One giant of that name appears in the 18th century tale Jack the Giant Killer. In the story of Jack Spriggins, the giant is named Gog Magog, which was a legendary giant in Welsh and later English mythology, and according to Geoffrey Monmouth's Historia Regime Britanniae, He was a giant inhabitant of Albion, thrown off a cliff during a wrestling match with Corinius. Gog Magog was the last of the giants found by Brutus. The giant's catchphrase, fee fi fo fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman, appears in William Shakespeare's King Lear. It was a tragedy about King Lear. In preparation for his old age, he divides his power and land between two of his daughters and becomes destitute and insane. The fee fi fo fum, I smell the blood of a Britishman, and something similar to Jack the Giant Killer. So that was it for this story, you all. I really do hope you enjoyed it. It was his bravery was very courageous, and he wasn't scared of the giant. And thank you for your taking the time to listen, and thank you, moderators on here. Thank you, Nierica. If there's another moderator on here, Applebrooks Honey. Yeah, it's good to be reminded that, we need to be courageous in the face of fear, and we can do it. We can. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, you all, and thank you.